Hey, howdy there again, folks. Me and, of course, Brandon Wenzel, come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, Sam Platter video series videos I've been doing for a little while now. We're over there to try out food and drink items. I eat the stuff, I drink the stuff, then I talk about the stuff. I let you know all that you need to know about the food and the drinks and the stuff and the things and the eating and the consuming and all that stuff. Very fast intro. So, folks, I'm in the truck. If you watch my videos for a while, you know that if I'm in the truck, well, I was probably out getting a thing or doing some stuff or whatever, and that's the case today. In fact, doing a dual review. We're doing a versus. It's the Brandon Sampler Platter versus thing idea. I've done these before. While I'm doing it, folks, by the way, usually I'm wearing a cool shirt. Today is no exception. Today, representing my Central Disorder shirt. Fantastic band. Got to see them perform, I don't know, a month or two ago now. Time as I get older just kind of dissipates, and it's just things that happened, or just, it could be, but yes, that has nothing to do with Central Disorder. Definitely check them out. They're a very good band. So anyway, folks, what am I trying for y'all today? Well, boom! It's an Arby's thing. What's the Arby's thing? Boom! No, I can't see the thing very well because there's stuff. Boom! Yes, indeed, folks. It's the Arby's real pork rib sandwich. I did a review of this very sandwich not too long ago. So go ahead and watch that review if you want just a singular review for that. But, folks, like I said, this is a dual review. It's going head-to-head. Because, of course, whole reason why Arby's came out with this when they did was because it was announced that the granddaddy of the rib sandwiches is returning. Boom! It's the McRib, folks. Oh, it's got sauce. Yes, indeed, folks. McRib was just released again. You know, it's, I don't know, is it strictly, I think it's like semi-annual or something. Like, I know it doesn't just come around once a year, right? I don't know. But anyway, rib sandwich. This is pretty much where it all started, folks. I mean, I'm sure there might have been something equivalent. I'm sure there were probably people who put pork and general rib-like setups on sandwiches before this, but this is really kind of where it started for the fast food stuff and everything. So I decided 1v1, the American institution versus the upstart. We're going to do it, folks. So, I mean, right off the bat, like I said, go back and watch the other review for the Arby's sandwich if you want like a more in-depth thing on that. Thing is, at the time, one of the things I brought up was that I think there are two different experiences. You know, the Arby's sandwich is really about, celebrating the pork, and, this is McRib, man. It's just, it's ridiculous, and it just is what it is. And first things first, I am going to say this. Normally when I do like a review of an item, I will at least go in one bite with like the overall of what the sandwich is, like its overall composition. Like with chicken sandwich reviews, I've done a bunch of those. Almost all of them have pickles. I'll take at least one bite with a pickle, even though I don't like pickles very much. I am not going to do that with the McRib. I've had many a McRib in my day. I am not big on the onions and the pickle on McRib. It will take away from the experience for me, so those are getting scooped off. I could have just asked, I imagine, for a lack thereof, but I forgot because, I tend to forget things. So, I know that's cheating a little bit, but no. Off. And actually, if you want to look into it, history of the McRib is actually pretty interesting. Like, it wasn't something that they just rolled out all willy-nilly. Like, they spent some serious time building up to it. Alright, folks, I'm going to try this, because let's be honest, the reason why I'm doing this, aside from the fact that I get 2 sandwiches, I'm not going to eat them all in one sitting, though. I'm going to keep one of them for lunch. Whole reason why I'm doing this, basically, is so I can go over there and have an excuse to have a fucking McRib on my review show, so... Alright, we're going to go with the old-timer first, because I think that's only fair. It's where it all started. Get off there, onions. I'm not huge on onions either. In fact, I like onions less than I like pickles. So, I mean, it's meat. Does it taste like pork? Not particularly. Because it's like I said in my other review, the Arby's sandwich, really, the experience that you're going for with the McRib is the sauce. It's slathered in the stuff. That's what you're going in for. And the sauce, to its credit, it's tasty. It's not like the most proper barbecue sauces, but there's a certain charm to it in a weird way. And it's probably just because, growing up in Midwest America, it was a little bit of a thing. Because the thing is, folks, the consistency of the meat isn't great. Like I said, you're not really getting a whole lot of meat flavor to begin with. The sauce is tasty. And it does what it needs to do. Like, it's a McDonald's item. You're not going into it expecting a high-quality experience. But there's, like, a weird nostalgia to it. For anyone who's, kind of grew up with it, there's something to it. McDonald's nailed it, and I think they did exactly what they should do with it, which is only have it available once in a while. Because I think if it were a regular menu item, I think people would get tired of it. Because having it just be a once in a while thing, it keeps it novel, and it keeps it as something that, you can anticipate when you hear that it's coming out. Whereas if it were just a normal, if it were just there all the time, like I said, I think most people would just kind of start to get tired of it, and it would probably end up off the menu eventually. Keeping it as they have, which actually was off the menu for a while. They discontinued it for, I think, like a couple years or something at one point. But yeah, like I said, it's a McRib. In terms of a review of it, really what you're reviewing is the sauce. And, it's not a bad barbecue sauce, but it's not, a great, like, real proper barbecue sauce. And I love some barbecue sauce, folks. I really do. But it's, like I said, you're tasting the nostalgia of it. It's not something that I would even really recommend for, if someone were coming into it, like, brand new, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Not that it's bad or anything, it tastes perfectly fine, but it's like, yeah, I admit that it's, there's the term rose-colored glasses, I guess, I have rose-flavored taste buds when it comes to the McRib. So, let's move on to Arby's. Look at that, folks. That really is just the business, And this has onions, but it has crispy onions, which are perfectly fine with me. I'm just not big on, like, raw onions, so let's do it, folks. Got mayo. Mayo's tasty. And right off the bat, It's a world of difference, folks. It really is. It's like I said in my previous review. It's a completely different experience. You're experiencing the focal point of what you're experiencing is completely different. You bite into this, immediately you've got that nice bite from the pork. You know, it's got some heft to it. You bite into a McRib, I'm convinced that you could go over there. If you took a quarter, okay? Single quarter, if you went over there and put it on top of a McRib patty and just left it there, after about like probably 20 to 30 seconds, it would probably just sink through to the bottom of the patty. Because there's just not much to it. You know, it's, you know, condensed whatever meat product. And really doesn't resemble pork. It really doesn't taste like pork. This is flat out pork. That's what you're getting right there. And it really is just vastly different. And there's so much more going on with this. Not only do you have the crispy onions, mayo, you got cheese, you got barbecue sauce, and despite all that, you're still getting that pork flavor. And that's such a huge difference maker. And even the barbecue sauce. Well, again, I wouldn't say it's the best barbecue sauce. It's definitely better than the McDonald's one. The McDonald's one, it's a McDonald's barbecue sauce. It's meant to appeal to as many people as possible. And it does that. The McRib, love it or hate it, it's, you know, it is really kind of like in its own way, kind of a goofy American institution. Say what you want, it is. With the Arby's, it's definitely way closer to being something, you know, something like a real barbecue sauce. You know, it's not trying to appeal to everybody, but at the same time, you know, it's not like a higher end barbecue sauce. You know, that's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much more going on with this. You know, there's a depth of textures and flavors. Everything plays really well together. This is a really good sandwich. Like, I really do have to emphasize that. I don't know if I emphasized it properly enough in my previous one. This is a super good sandwich. Even if you're not big onto Arby's, try this one. This is a sandwich I would recommend regardless of its fast food, you know, Arby's kind of fast food pedigree. Yes. Now that said, 1v1, which one wins out? I mean, the question becomes, now which one is better tasting? Because this wins out. This is a way better sandwich. It just, fundamentally, by worlds. The real question becomes, you know, if faced with the option of one versus the other, which one would I go for? And that's where it becomes a little bit closer of a match, because again, with the McRib, there is that nostalgia factor to it. There is that, you know, there's kind of a coziness to it, you know, when you bite into it. I don't know other way to describe it, you know. It tastes like, let me put this down, it's leaking sauce on my hand. Tastes like childhood, which it shouldn't, by the way. I'm just going to point, I'm not going on a whole thing, but one of the things that I'm trying to do, despite these reviews, I am actually trying to be healthier about stuff. I probably should just not do the reviews, or at the very least just do healthy reviews, which those are actually coming. I have some healthy stuff, you know, but I figure once in a while I can get away with something. I probably shouldn't, but don't, you know, shouldn't be nostalgic for a McDonald's rib sandwich, but I am, so it is what it is. Ultimately, for me, it would come down to, I can't even say availability because I don't know. I mean, right now, it's a limited item over at Arby's as well. If they both came out, I would love it personally if they came out at the same time every year. I would genuinely think that would be pretty fantastic. I mean, ultimately, it has to come down to which one I would recommend overall. And I have to give it to the Arby's sandwich, even though I know there's times when, faced with the decision, and I have an Arby's about, certain amount of distance away from my house in one direction and a McDonald's in the other, so it's not really an issue of distance for me. There are times when I would go for the McRib. But at the same time, here's the thing. I have now had my McRib, now that it's returned. Most likely during its window of availability, I might get it maybe one more time. And that's not even like the healthy aspect of things, me trying to do better for myself. That's about what I do. I don't need it to be a regular thing. It's one of those things where, again, just kind of every now and again, whereas with the Arby's one, yeah, man, that's a good sandwich. So I got to give it to the Arby's. For 80s and 90s kids like me, yeah, man, the McRib, it's always going to be a classic. Regardless of anything else, it has that classic status on lockdown. But we live in, the time I'm doing this, 2021, we can do better, folks. So, anyway, that's going to do it for me and my review. Could do 5 things for me before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, fantastic rest of your week, stupendous rest of your month, monumental rest of your year. If you can go over there and have yourselves a Arby's pork sandwich rest of your life, because that's the one that won out. And if you're vegan, vegetarian, or just don't like Arby's or whatever, then kale seems like a thing, right? Yeah, go for have a kale rest of your life, or whatever. Final 2 things for me, folks. Good. Oh, come on, Brandon, do it. You can do it. No, sandwich. Number 1, try to bring some positivity to the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. Sometimes can't do it, though. I know I can't do it all the time. Can't do it. What can you do, folks? Well, try not to be an asshole. If you can't put the good stuff out there, let's not take it away. Sometimes you're going to be an asshole. It's going to happen. Sometimes I'm an asshole. But try to mitigate it where you can. Final thing for me, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to do. Maybe you're going to go over there, you're going to come up with your own rib sandwich. And it's going to be like the tastiest rib sandwich this side of the Mississippi. I've never been to the other side of the Mississippi, I don't think. Oh, maybe I have. Maybe. Whichever side of the Mississippi you're on, it'll be the best rib sandwich on either side of the Mississippi. Okay? That's what it'll do. There you go. And you'll go over there and you'll market it, and you'll become this huge chain, and, you'll kind of lose sight of who you were, and the build-up and everything. You'll push your friends and family away because you're the rib king now. And, but then there'll be kind of a fall from grace, but then there'll be a redemption arc in the 3rd act. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So you'll find true happiness, and whatever. Steve Carell will co-star. Anyway, that's it for me, folks. Have a good one. Bye.